Hey, everybody. Hey, Dr. McFarland. Good to see you here. Thank you for showing up, man. It is I am in Georgia and it is 8:30, so 7:30 in Tennessee, I think. And I'm not it's too late to do math for California, but anyway, I just thought I would sign on here and see how everybody was doing. It's been a long time since I have streamed, a long time, probably over a year. And honestly, kind of missed it a little bit. Nervous as I can be right now. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of catch you up. Some things I've been doing and some things I'm working on, some things that are coming up. And if you're here, please say hi in the comments. I'd love to see your face. I can show your comments up here on the screen. But anyway, yeah, I've been kind of hiding lately. It feels like I've been hiding anyway. But you just get so busy with life that you don't take time to do stuff like this. So hey, Tony, good to see you. Andrew Michael, good to see you, man. Thank y'all for coming. All of my YouTube people, appreciate you showing up. Um, so yeah, I was just saying that I have been hiding out a little bit. But some of you didn't know that I moved to Georgia, Central Georgia, about a little over a year ago. Took a job as a tech director at a church here, and been doing that for the last little while. Been through a bunch of renovations, a lot of tech, learned a lot of stuff, met a lot of really cool people. And but yeah, I'm kind of out of hiding. I'm jumping back on the bus here. I'm planning on doing some live streams from time to time, and also to let you know that I'm working on a new podcast. It's going to be a new season. It's not going to be necessarily a season of tutorials and tips and tricks about mixing because honestly, I haven't been mixing a lot lately. Uh, I've been contemplating and been very active in writing a book. It's called Learning to Listen, and it's a book about listening. Hearing is a is a physical thing, and listening seems to be more emotional. And I've written a lot of stories about how you can apply what I've learned in the studio with to how you can apply it to life, being a dad, being a friend, being a follower of God. And so anyway, I kind of got the tutorial thing. I haven't really had um, a studio set up at my house for a while now, a little over a year. I never did set one up. I set my studio up at the church that I'm working at. So this and to be honest with you, the tutorial thing kind of it. I don't know. I don't know. I was too. There's a lot of people doing really tongue tied. There's a lot of people doing really good tutorials, and I would throw one out there every now and then. But something that really gets me excited is talking about the book. So I thought maybe in just a little bit I would read a chapter of the book that I wrote while we were in California. We went to California a couple of weeks ago for vacation. Got to see some really good friends out there, and get to hang out with them and experience the beautiful weather out there, and then come back to Tennessee to Georgia, and it was jet lag, and I got a little sick working out there, or not working out there, but got a little sick. I think it was the jet lag and just trying to see too many people, I guess. But anyway, I thought I might read you a chapter from the book that I wrote out there called Complications. But first, I was going to tell you that there's let's see, I forgot to put the link. Let me throw a little link here that says mixcoach.com/listen. This is a link where you can sign up to get more chapter readings like this. I'll be working on some workshops and some challenges. Now I'm not doing studio stuff anymore. I am doing that sort of stuff, or will be in the future, and I'll be doing some workshops and things like that when I one day when I get back to Nashville. But anyway, I think I'll read you a chapter from the book, if you don't mind. It's called Complications. Um, Learning to listen what God builds into you. If you look up the word complication in Webster's dictionary, it doesn't sound like something you'd want in your life. It's defined as a circumstance that complicates something, a difficulty, a problem, or a secondary disease. Basically, it's what happens when something that was supposed to be simple becomes tangled, messy, or hard to manage. By that definition, most of us spend our lives trying to avoid complications. We want simple, predictable, and easy. But in a world of watchmaking, long before Apple turned that word into a tech feature, a complication meant something completely different. In a mechanical watch, a complication is any function beyond telling time. So a date window is a complication, a stopwatch is a complication, a moon phase indicator, a tide tracker, a second time zone, all complication. And here's the thing, each one makes the watch more valuable. Every complication requires a master craftsman, a watchmaker, to add new gears, new springs, levers, in just the right alignment so that everything still works together. It doesn't make the watch worse, it makes it more useful. It tells a bigger story. It serves a greater purpose. If God is the watchmaker, if God is the watchmaker, then every extra gear in your life, every relationship, every move, delay, and heartbreak might not be an accident at all. He may be adding functions. He may be building something that can handle more than just one kind of time. Back in the day, people bought watches for a single purpose. They bought watches for a single purpose. There were watches for diving. You could buy a watch for flying, for racing. Doctors had certain kinds of watches. Soldiers had certain kinds of watches. Each was designed to meet a specific kind of pressure, a particular kind of environment. And people wore them almost like badges of identity. A pilot's watch said something about courage and precision. A diver's watch hinted at adventure and depth. A runner's watch spoke of endurance and discipline. If you saw the watch, you could guess the story of the person wearing it. In a way, their watch told who they were. Their watch told, in a way, their watch told who they were made for. Now, in this modern age, most of us wear the same smartwatch, this one, loaded with every complication imaginable. That's where I noticed the word for the first time, complications. I was like, what's a complication? It sounds complicated. It sounds like it's not supposed to be there. But um, it tracks our sleep, our heart rate, text, and task, but it doesn't tell the world much about who we are anymore. Maybe that's what happens when we try to live someone else's story, when we forget the watchmaker built us for a particular kind of pressure, a unique kind of calling. God doesn't build generic lives. He crafts specific instruments with specific complications for specific purposes. You may not be built for deep water or high altitude, but you are built for something. And the complications the complications he's added to your life, well, they might be the very thing that tells the world who and whose you are. The complications of real life. I'll get a sip of water here. The complications of real life. It's one thing to talk about complications in theory. It's another to live them out. We don't always see the beauty. We don't always see the beauty in the middle of them. Most of the time, they just feel heavy, like extra gears grinding against what used to be smooth. But if you've walked with God for any amount of time, you start to notice a pattern. The very things that throw your life off balance are often the things that shape it the most. Every complication has a rhythm. Everyone carries a frequency, a vibration in your spirit that says, God's still working here. Waiting to have kids like we did, having kids too early or having kids early, moving across the country, changing jobs, learning new skills, making new friends, leaving old ones behind, needing hearing aids, saying yes when you're scared, like tonight, saying no when you'd rather say please, being submissive under authority, speaking up when you used to stay quiet. These are all complications, and you can't avoid them, deny them, or pretend they don't affect you, but you listen to them. They teach patience, humility, and dependence. They make us more understanding, more creative, more useful to the people around us. Listening to the complications. When the session goes wrong in the studio, it's easy to get frustrated. But if I've learned anything after the years behind a console, it's that problems are almost always invitations. They force me to stop, to listen harder, to learn something I wouldn't have learned any other way. Life's complications are the same way. God doesn't waste parts that don't seem to fit. He uses them to keep time with eternity. He builds things we didn't ask for so we can do things we never would have done. My own complication. Years ago, I made a decision that at the time felt like pulling the plug on everything I'd worked hard for. I had a good recording career, one that made sense, one that was growing, but I felt a stirring, a call to learn something new. So I did the unthinkable. I moved my little family to a new town and I started over. It was complicated. I left behind a career that I love, friends who understood me, and a life that felt somewhat stable. The new season wasn't glamorous, it was humbling. I was learning new skills, building new relationships, and wrestling with whether I'd made a huge mistake. 4.5 years later, I found myself back where I started, only different. The move, the learning, the rebuilding of it all had added something to me, a faith I didn't have before, a depth of empathy I didn't know was missing, a kind of wisdom that only comes from being broken open. And now looking back, I can see that those complications were never interruptions. They were installations, new gears God was adding to make me more useful. But even now, I can't put a period at the end of the story because honestly, I still don't know why I did it and or all that it brought or all that I lost. I just have to keep trusting that God does have a plan for this complication. Maybe the goal isn't to escape complications. Maybe the goal is to learn to hear what they're adding. The value of a watch isn't in its simplicity, it's in its craftsmanship that lets every tiny piece work together for one purpose, to keep perfect time. The value of your life isn't how smooth it is or how smooth it runs. It's in the complications that teach you to listen, to trust, and to align your heart with the watchmaker's design. So, here's a little question for those few of you who are on here. What complications of your life might God be asking? Not to break you, but to build something new inside of you. So anyway, that's just one chapter. That's one of the newer ones. And it still needs a little work on it, but I thought I would let you guys hear it first. I have probably 20, 25 chapters written already, and I'm in the process of compiling it. So writing a book is not a new thing to me, but actually writing the book this way is different because the first book I wrote is called The Mixer's Toolkit that I wrote with Nathan Adam. It was such a great experience because all I did was recorded a tutorial video for a class that he was teaching at Belmont. He sent them all to my studio in Murfreesboro there, and I just did a tutorial. It was fun. I was in my lane, and he said, "You really should be teaching this stuff more." That was actually before Mix Coach started. Honestly, I was going to say, thank you, Doc. I appreciate it, Nathan. It's encouraging. Tony, you've moved across the country before, haven't you? Back to the book. The first book I wrote, it did pretty well. I mean, I think it did. I had never written a book before, but Nathan took it and he took screenshots of the tutorial that we recorded that night, and he transcribed it, and then he edited it in his awesome manner. He's got such a wit about him. And then he wrote the book. We wrote it for Focal Press, and it came out. I think it's out of print now, but I think one of the mistakes we made in the book was calling it Pro Tools 7 the Mixer's Toolkit, which, by the time the book came out, 8 was right there. So people probably thought Pro Tools 7 was ancient by then. Of course, it's still roughly the same, but Nathan says he has that book. I appreciate it, man. It's awesome. I think I have a copy of the book. I was looking the other day on Amazon to see if it was still available. I don't think it is, but anyway, so I'm working on this book, and this is a little bit different because I'm actually writing this myself. Well, me and ChatGPT is helping me. I'm utilizing the power of ChatGPT. I'll just express all my thoughts into my phone as if I'm in a therapy session. It's actually been pretty good because I'm able to get things out of my brain. Because the way my brain works is kind of weird, because anybody with ADD, I guess, would experience this, where you start something and then you think that's never going to work. This is no, I'll just stop, and you quit. But if you're just talking like this, I told myself before I came on here, I said, just be brave for 5 minutes while you hit the start stream button. And then here I am trying to be brave and jumping back on here and get my sea legs about me again. But anyway, yeah, writing this book is a little different. I'm just, talking into my phone, and then ChatGPT and I are going back and forth about, say it this way. I don't want to add this story. I want to add this story here. And so if you're not using it that way, then you're missing out. So anyway, yeah, that's one chapter from the book. I may pick out another chapter and go live again in a couple of days when I have time. But this seems like a pretty good time. I don't know. There's not a lot of people here, but I pretty much decided that if I didn't go live tonight, I would never go live. So here I am live tonight, and there's only a few people watching. It's not like it was back when I was streaming on the regular, but I'm going to get back there, and I'm excited about it. I mean, I'm actually this book really does. It really does excite me to be able to talk to people about listening. I'll tell you where the story came from. It's like, honestly, here's an upfront story that I have always been afraid to share, but I'm going to share it since my friends are on here, and the people watching later won't judge me. But I realized a few years ago that I really do have a hearing deficit. As a matter of fact, I went ahead and got these kicking and screaming. I knew I needed them though, and it has improved my life in a lot of ways. Hearing aids. It makes listening to music not as enjoyable with them on, and so sometimes I'll take them off or turn them off, and to listen to music the way I used to. And when I hear the way I used to hear, it's really surprising. And yeah, it's still not pleasant because it's like listening. It's like these glasses. If you've ever had a guitar that was microphonic, when you touched it, you could hear anything. If you're touching the cable, that's what this sounds like sometimes. But I realized that it's not a recent thing that I have a hearing deficit. It's been years. As a matter of fact, me and Jana this is before Kaylin. This is when I was just first moving to Nashville. And I think it really shapes how I've learned to mix and learned to teach mixing, because I didn't realize it, but I was hacking the system a little bit. We were at dinner with some friends, and I guess I said, a few too many times. And she said, I think you have a hearing problem. And it hit me like she could have just thrown cold water on me. But yeah, I was like, everything inside me was like, how dare you? I make a living hearing and listening. So anyway, I mean, I tried to trace back any story of, how could I have lost my hearing? But when I think about it, I don't think that I've ever had great hearing. I think I've always kind of hacked the system a little bit. So I learned to cope, and I learned to work around the system. I learned tricks that I have been teaching for years on how to how to do things. I even think that I learned to play bass because it didn't have a lot of high frequency stuff. I mean, writing this book has really brought out a lot of like, haven't thought about that. Why did I become a mixer? And I think some of that reason for becoming a mixer was like, I couldn't hear the vocals well enough, so I wanted to start mixing. So anyway, I've learned that I made a good living mixing without all my hearing. So that should give hope to some people. That should to know that if you don't know you can't do something, you're unstoppable, right? So uh, I'm going live tonight. I was unstoppable. I hit that button like it was nothing. So anyway, Nathan, going live is fun when you're not petrified. You go live quite a bit, don't you? I'm proud of you, man. It's not an easy thing to do. Public speaking is like one of the scariest things they say to do. So anyway, well, I feel good about the start of this. This is going to turn into a podcast, and I would like to, in addition to talking about all the ways that I've learned to listen, not hear, but listen. You learn how to listen when somebody says something in the studio. Here's an example of listening. One of the things I used to do in the studios when people would come to my place in Murfreesboro, they'd be so nervous. You could tell that they'd never been in a studio. I mean, I had a decent studio. And I had creature comforts, and it felt official. It felt I had a big console, I had big monitors, everything that you need to make it feel like a good studio. Wall treatments, big fat microphones. But I would always notice that the people would be nervous. They would be really nervous. So in listening to that, one of the things I would do is not make them sing right away. I would sit on the couch and I would say, "So you guys drove all the way from Virginia, right? Yeah. How was the trip? It was good. Did y'all drive in last night? Or did you drive in this morning? Oh, we drove in last night. Where did you stay? Oh, there's a cool place called Demos's that we need to go to tonight when we finish our vocals." And I would just make small talk and make sure that they were comfortable. And I could tell because I was listening, not just with my ears, but with my eyes. I was listening to what they were missing. And then what they were missing was confidence. So in listening, I pivoted and I feel like I made people really comfortable in my studio. Another thing I would do too is like I would get them to do me a favor in the studio. I would say, "Hey, I would like to um, I would like to see which microphone you sound the best on. Is that okay with you?" And they'd say, "Yeah." I say, "Now I just don't don't feel any. I just want you to get used to the microphone. I'm gonna see if it's working." And I would always put in record, and I'd put it in record because I wanted to create momentum. I wanted to hit that start button. I wanted to hit that start stream button because once you get started, it's a lot easier. I was praying the other day when I had to have a hard conversation. I would pray, "God, just give me 5 seconds of courage to get this conversation started." And I did, and the conversation got started, and I was able to navigate the conversation in that. That comes from listening. That comes from not just listening to yourself, but listening to other people, and ultimately listening to what God is saying and clearing the way for God to be able to tell you something. So anyway, all right. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up and go ahead and call it a day here in Central Georgia. But thank you guys for coming, Tony, Andrew, Nathan. I appreciate you guys being here, and I guess I'll see you guys again very soon. All right.